Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War PvP workshop casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 1 vs 1 in Unification. Playing on the side as the Space Marines, we've got Renegade, and playing on the side as the Renegade Guard, we've got Stalker. Stalker will be opening up a couple of Revolutionary Volunteers, a Heretic, and a Vrexian Recruitment Centre, whereas Renegade is going to go for a couple of Space Marine Scout Squads and a Chapel Barracks. So once again, we are in the PvP workshop. We are delving deep into the minds of these players to see what goes well, what doesn't go well, and all the usual stuff. And just as a regular reminder that this is a nice, friendly kind of space where we are trying to provide feedback and good stuff, not only for these players, but also for everyone else watching at home. So kind words in the comments below, and all the usual gubbins. And also, just on a side note, I do quite like how Renegade is representing the... I do believe that this is the decal and the colour scheme for the Lamenters. I mean, what kind of faction would the Lamenters be in Dawn of War Unification? Would it be a case of like a regular Space Marine faction, except for just things randomly die? Maybe like the buildings decay over time. If they like got like civilians on the field, and the more civilians there are, the more stronger they are. Who knows really, but hey ho, that's the way of things. So we are seeing Renegade opening with a Space Marine squad, and then going Force Commander, which makes sense. There are plenty of bits and bobs to snag on a map like this, and because they're so widespread, if you go for an extra capping unit at the beginning of the game, it does mean that you're able to snag these a lot quicker than if you go for a hero in the opening. Whereas down over here, we are seeing Stalker go for double plasma generators and a Renegade Tactica, which implies that he's going to go for some upgraded units and stuff for their extra weaponry, and also maybe a quick tier 2, potentially. But a Vrexian militia squad on the way. Not seeing a... Oh, I completely forget what the company commander for the Vrexian Guard is called. We're not seeing him, which is surprising considering that up against the Space Marines, we've got a lot of heavy infantry, and those guys come out with plasma guns, so they do, well, they just do a lot of damage against those guys. Especially since a lot of factions don't have access to plasma guns in Tier 1. Here comes the Force Commander. And we're seeing the Space Marines were kind of sent over here. Not sure whether these guys were sent to try and cap this relic or not when the scouts were doing that, so little honest mistake. Not seeing anyone go for this strategic point over here. Maybe the idea is to focus on trying to capture this one over yonder, but we shall see. Double Heretics coming over to build up this listing post, as Stalker is getting a good control over all of his bits and bobs on his side of the map. Space Marines just standing around. Generally, you don't want your squads standing around ever, unless you know that someone's about to attack a certain position. But there we go, these guys are going to move forward, and at the moment, this listing post is currently unbuilt and unupgraded, so this is ideal space for them to go in and do some damage. Force Commander, if this was upgraded, in fact, actually, they've both gone in to fire around, and so if the Force Commander went in first, they'd be absorbing a lot of the fire damage, but they're going to run away, which is interesting, because all this could destroy this if they wanted to. Force Commander does a fair bit of building damage in close combat, and the Space Marines obviously can just do some consistent fire all the way there. But I hope maybe he's just playing a bit safe, a bit precautiously. Got a second Space Marine squad coming out, and 2 Space Marine squads would normally be used for quite an aggressive style of play in the early stages of the game. Also, the Vrexian militia squad being upgraded to maximum numbers, which you don't normally see. But again, if you're going to play aggressive, then either lots of little squads, like the Space Marine player is doing with 2 squads of Space Marines, or 1 big squad of your tier 1s going in. Also got that militia veteran on the go. Now, if he went for some upgrades from the Renegade Tactica, he's going to go for tainted armor, which might not make a huge difference, but if he went for that plasma gun upgrade for the captains, and then also gone for the company commander with their plasma guns, that would have been amazing. But now going to see some grenade launchers, which are good for the knockback. Also able to knock back the Force Commander. Got plenty of Space Marines now, and in a straight fight here, the Vrexians are not going to be winning anytime soon. You have the grenade launchers, like I say, but with that Force Commander tying them up in close combat will kill them very quickly. The Volunteers die remarkably quickly as well. Think of your Volunteers like Imperial Guard conscripts or your Praetorian Irregulars. Their job is for capping, and I suppose in Tier 2 for the Revolutionary Volunteers for some easy missile launchers if you are struggling against vehicles. Got some Volunteers over here that aren't doing really anything. Could be poking and prodding and seeing what they could do over here. Now, normally in this scenario, this listing post would be captured and they wouldn't be killing it anytime soon. But in these kind of scenarios, it wouldn't hurt just to go check. And if they didn't check, they'd realise, oh, there's another strategic point that we could take advantage of. So, there we go. Space Marines just chilling out. Could do with like an A move. As these guys could be pushing a lot further. I've gone for the armory. And what upgrades are you going to go for in the armory? That's my question. Nothing at the moment. But again, if you're going to invest a lot in large squads of Space Marines, then vehicle, or should I say weapon upgrades are definitely a good idea. And they've killed that. And go on, just right click on it. A double dare you. That'd be amazing. Because at the moment, the Braxian Guard can see exactly where you are. So you may as well just do it for at least the... There we go, go for that decap then. Like I said, I think that in this game, there's no major mistakes. I don't think there's any major misplays from either player. They're on the cusp of greatness. They've got the ideas, they've got the build orders. I mean, okay, maybe going for 2 Space Marine squads being reinforced to maximum numbers might be a little bit overkill. Especially with the Vaxian militias as well. But, you know, it's not a problem. Not a problem at all. It's still entirely viable to go for those kinds of things if that's what you want and if that's what you're going for. But finally, the volunteers will come over and see that strategic point is free real estate. Also seeing a tranche to have been placed inside the base. Expecting some argy-bargy, but, I mean, you've already got a tranche to it here. And these bits and bobs are all... Well, I suppose this one isn't upgraded. This one is. Ah, you're going to cancel it. Fair enough. Ah, it's like as if you can hear me. A voice from the future. The Space Marines have decapped and recapped this. Not going to build a listing post on it. And they're going to fall back. You've got the numbers, man. You've got the numbers. They've got all this stuff that you can be bashing as well. All this time is wasted time, more or less. Got a minefield over here, which I think Stalker's playing a little bit too defensively. Could be doing some shenanigans. But I mean, can you see the... Ah, yes, you can see the Revolutionary Volunteers over here. So you know that they're an easy target. The Space Marines just chilling out, waiting for that Force Commander to catch up. I don't think you need to. You can just send them off on one way. I have seen them go up for a Plasma Gun upgrade, which is nice. Definitely something you see a lot of inexperienced players do, which is just sleep on those upgrades. Always good to go for them. Look at him just absolutely slaying him. One plasma pistol, and hearing those cries. I'm going to go for a third Marine squad. Okay. Go for some frag grenades as well. Interesting. Don't think you need a third one. If you've gone for this amount of boys inside 1 on 2 squads, don't think you need a third. Or are you in tier 2 at the moment? You are not in tier 2, but Stalker is. Gone for more plasma generators. Current economy has been 86 and 20. Compared to 90 or 104 and 20. And a tranche to have been placed down here. Now, I suppose if you've got such a lacking of forces, it might not be a terrible idea, but I mean, if you've got the heavy weapons squad, a bit overkill. It's got the Beastmen, do love the Beastmen. Able to rip and tear everything in close combat. Using the long range scanners, nice to see. We'll anticipate them. Grenade launchers, send these guys a backpack in. Yeah, these guys won't be winning in this engagement. Especially considering that they've only really got access to flamers at the moment. Can only access all their other upgrades in tier 2. It's a bit of a pain. Not a happy situation for them. Tier 2 is now just about halfway done. We are seeing that Lenica has built up his armory and his plasma generators outside here. Which you'll see some players, what they'll do if they've got some builders over here building up the listing posts. Just to save time rather than walking all the way back to the base proper and building stuff up. They will build stuff around the listing post on the outskirts, which is a catch-22 because it saves you movement time, so you're able to get these guys online a lot quicker, but it does mean that they're a little bit more vulnerable if you get pushed back. So got to be absolutely careful that you're making sure that these guys are safe. Now, moving all the way from over here, down all the way down this side, all this walking time is costing them valuable punching time, I guess. I mean, they've checked over here. They've realised that this is a hard place to assault. Haven't checked down here, though. I mean, they'll still struggle considering that there's a transit turret and a upgrade listing post here. But you didn't know that. There was an opportunity for them to see what was going on. With all these fighting forces over here, they would have had plenty of opportunity to actually kill this transit turret with all 3 of these Space Marine squads knocking around. Also leaving the scouts and stuff over in the middle as well. Again, scouts, I mean, they'll probably not do all that much. They'll probably die. But still sending them around with your fighting force is not a terrible idea, considering that any kind of firepower is good firepower. None of it's wasted. But both players playing very defensively at the moment, which makes sense for the Vaxian Guard. That's what they want to do in this scenario. The Space Marines are sending all their forces over here to decap this one space, whereas they could essentially have... I mean, that's what the scouts could be doing, you know? They could come down and decap and recap this, while the Space Marines go about their wicked and foul business. Tier 2 has been finished. Chaplain on the way. Always good to keep these guys their health up while it's level 2. Good lord, that Hellhound singing. Definitely a confusing thing to have in both your ear holes while trying to talk. A Hellhound, a good idea, as there is primarily, in fact, there's no vehicles on the side of Lenica at the moment. So Hellhound, a good idea. Vaxian Militia being upgraded with some more members, but they've been added up like this rather than right-clicked on the squad members. Always, always, if you plan to reinforce them a lot, just right-click on here. That way it avoids you from spending all your money. That being said, Stalker does have a lot of money to spend. Vaxian Militia's hiding in the smoke. One of their advantages is that they have a mobile heavy weapons team and also one that can place themselves in. Although they're getting out of position for whatever reason. Gives those Hellhounds. A combination of a Hellhound and a Chimera firing down on the Space Marines. And Space Marines, yeah, they're just dying straight up, no problems asked. They've got their missile launchers, but rather than attacking from the northern side with all the other boys, they're coming around the back side, where they've now been flanked as well. Lovely use of the Beastmen as well. Coming out of that Chimera just against close combat super quick. Absolutely wiping out those Lamenters. God blimey. So 2 full squad Space Marines, even with level 2 War Gear Bionics upgrade on them, and brought down extremely quickly. Well, that firepower. Revolutionary Volunteers, there we go. That's the capping unit to regain this space. Honor Guard, very strong close combat unit. While Space Marines just standing in the fire of that transit turret. Also been slowed down by that transit turret as well. Space Marines have got double missile launchers and double heavy bolters. But the Beastmen able to counteract them very efficiently. Taking no prisoners. Hellhound setting these guys ablaze. Even with the health regen from that chaplain. That AoE damage really doing them in there. Now also gone for their satellite targeting resolutions. They've increased the range damage of their models. Yeah, all this heavy bolter stuff would be amazing at wiping out the lightly armoured militia squads. A very nice addition is those Beastmen inside the Chimera. Very nice addition indeed. All seeing those militia squads continually just looking around the flanks. I mean, that's what these scouts could be doing. When there's like a big engagement going in down the middle, you can do like lots of like skirmishing actions around the flanks just to make sure that all these points are being secure. But Machine Cult is bringing out triple land speeder Tempests, which again, right click on your building units rather than building them up like this, just to save you money on, you know, other stuff, so you can buy other things while that's waiting up. And yeah, gonna go for those crack missiles. Good idea, right? Because if you've got Beastmen coming up towards you, smack you in the face. Devastators, which we're seeing a Devastator squad here, will probably die to these Beastmen. But Land Speeder Tempests up in the air, we'll just be able to ignore them. The Hellhound's basically the main problem for the Space Marine player at the moment. Go on, Scouts, there's a fight going on here now. Get involved. Do some stuff, man. That's what you want. Also got Dark Magos. It's like a builder unit for the Vaxian Guard. Has come out to play. No, it's going to stand. Going to dying what you do love, which is just standing there menacingly. Long range last cannon from the heavy weapons militiamen. A lot of damage to the land speeders. Also got quite a remarkable range as well. Managing to take out one Chimera there, so that's something. Devastators being absolutely wiped out. No love for them at the moment. Stalker tank in there. And yeah, this is a grim situation for the Lamenters. Now, quite like this, rather than engaging in all this stuff that he knows he can't beat, Land speeders are going to go on the right-hand side and do some damage against targets that they can actually win against. And if they can push over on this side and start fighting all this stuff, that might actually bring the Vraxians over to try and defend stuff rather than going on the offensive. But here we see the negative aspects of building your stuff outside your base. It's now vulnerable to all these sentinels coming forward. Stalker tank and Hellhound chasing after these guys. Space Marine's low on models. Just got one missile launcher in there, but will be brought down low quite quickly. Stalker tanks, or should I say Landspeeder Tempest, really needs to focus on this Hellhound. That's what's causing the maximal amount of damage. Force Commander, he's fighting for the fire and flames. The assistance from those Landspeeder Tempests able to take it out. So in this scenario, Stalker probably should see all this stuff in the air and think, right, need to bring these guys back. Won't be winning this scenario at all on their own. Here come the Sentinels, and well, if the Stalker and Hellhound weren't going to win this engagement, I can't imagine the Sentinels with their autocannons are going to do much better. Also, two of them standing in negative cover. Always got to be careful of your positioning. Yeah, no contest whatsoever. Sentinels smashed down quick as you like. So this is an opportunity for the Space Marines to fight back. In what the Renegade Guard have got a significant amount of money to play with. Space Marines less so, but you've got plenty of green money to play with. So a vehicle-heavy composition would be absolutely amazing. Going for a lot of heavy bolters, which would be great at killing these militia heavy weapons teams if you can stay away from these beastmen. Also love that these Landspeeder Tempests are now playing the aggression game, going right down the middle, blasting things here, there and everywhere. Also going to destroy these attempts at building up some heavy weapons, or should I say, trench turrets. And now's the case of just using these guys to smash up anything and everything that they can. Vraxian militia looking for some melter guns, so got to be careful to make sure that these guys don't stay in fighting with these guys, or at least focus these guys down before all the melter guns come online, but already with two active at the moment. Quite short-range weapons they are though, so that is something. Will move into close combat, or relatively close combat. And dear oh dear, they're focusing on the listing post. Losing one land speeder, which every model lost for the Lamenters, is a huge backswing. Run for another squad of Space Marines. Don't think the Space Marines are working out for you, young man. Now against all this. That being said though, the Hellhounds have been killed, but then there's 3 Hellhounds on the way. So, Hellfire Dreadnought, would that be an idea? Oh, I suppose you've got a limited amount of vehicle cap space. I mean, would heroes be the way forward here? Commander armor to resist that Hellhound fire. We did see the Spaceman Commander go toe-to-toe with a Stalker and a Hellhound, not losing that much health for quite some time. And also, all these Beastmen can only really hit so many things at once. If you've got one model in the middle, and all these Beastmen surround him, only so many models can actually physically hit him at one given time. Also, Commanders have got usually like quite good knockback on their close combat attacks. And Librarian as well for Smite. All this lightly armoured troops, one Smite in the middle of these guys could really wipe them out. Space Marines with no upgrades at the moment because there's no armoury. Landspeeder Tempest doing the God Emperor's work against these Hellhounds. Beastmen going straight for one squad. And it's not looking... Oh, there we go. Stalker throwing out a preemptive GG, my goodness. The disrespect on this man. But, I mean, it's kind of a foregone conclusion, really. So many infantries. And there is nothing left from the Space Marines. Now, Space Marines, I think, if they were playing a lot more aggressive in the early game, I think they would have certainly had a better fighting chance. Considering that at one point they did have 3 fully fledged squads of Space Marine Tactical Marines. And, I mean, yeah, okay, fair enough, this place was a little bit more defended. But, I mean, this place was like, you know, they could have capped this, built up a listing post for more economy, maybe played a bit more defensive, standing in this, like, area where they could have made use of the Renegade Guard having to access this negative cover. Maybe pressing up on this side of the listing post, or better yet, just going around this side and then coming down over here. And just keeping the Vraxian Guard active. But one thing that nearly worked out for them was those Landspeeder Tempests. When they came over here destroying all this stuff, great. if they were being a little bit more proactive at killing these militias as quickly as possible before they got their melter guns. Oh, where's my... Be gone, chat box. I don't need you now. But yeah, then killing all this stuff would have been amazing for them. That would have probably potentially convinced this fighting force to go back and defend some stuff. Or even if they then decide to continue to fight over on this side, all the Hellhounds that were coming over here for supporting purposes would have then been destroyed by those Landspeeder Tempests. So, I mean, it's on a hair's breadth that the Lamenters could have came back and done some stuff. Would have been, you know, an uphill battle, considering that they lost basically all their listing posts, but hey-ho, such is the way of things. So yeah, thank you so much, Stalker, for sending this game. And if you want to support the channel, have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month gets you once a game a week. And there is also a Discord, where Discord things happen. Links in the description, as always. I've been Mr. Landshark. Pleasure as always, never short. Now, see you in a bit. Peace.